stand together, we'll never fall. We can make a difference and answer the call.
Well, hi there, and welcome back to another episode of the All Around Growth podcast. Today is Friday, September 16th, 2022. This is episode number 423 of a show where you get to join me as I build a life and homestead with my family. A show where we talk about the 5 W's and how as we all grow along with the family business here at York Meadow Farm. Now, one of the most rewarding things about this podcast is the community that is forming. Now, in addition to me talking and sharing my story about all-around growth in life here on the homestead, I get to hear about you, your lives, and your families as you all grow in the context of your lives. In the group that I'm talking about specifically, where this happens the most, where we are engaged the most with one another, is on Telegram. And you can join us there at t.me/allaroundgrowth on your internet browser. No need to download any additional apps on your phone. You can use it on your computer very easily. It's great, just like any native messaging app, but better. So join us there. We're also on other social medias, but on Telegram, that is where we are the most active. And in that group, we all are sharing our personal journeys, but it's nice because in addition to the podcast where I share mine, I hear about your personal journeys, your ups and your downs, and ultimately the solutions that we all help each other come up with and we all share, even if the solution in that moment is just a place to vent and talk and share. And while the group is certainly supportive in that way, the group is far more active with dialogue about all the things that we are actively accomplishing in our lives. We are a community of people who get shit done. And today, we're going to talk about someone from the community who is doing exactly that. Now, before I do that, we've got to take care of a little housekeeping because today's show is brought to you by, that's right, York Meadow Farm, where we produce handcrafted batches of probiotic-rich fermented foods and natural bath and body products scented with pure essential oils. And you can check out the show notes for links to the farm and to sign up for the newsletter for updates from the homestead. And also, when the online store opens next week, be sure to use the promo code AllAroundGrowth to receive a fat 25% discount on your order of anything in the store. All right, so promo code AllAroundGrowth, you get better savings than anyone out there, including the email subscribers. All right, now before we just jump into the dialogue about this particular audience member out there who is crushing it and doing some really fascinating work, we're going to take a little sneak peek into an old farmer's almanac, daily almanac. And I want to touch on that quickly because I think it dovetails with what we're talking about in today's episode, which is titled The Daily Almanac and the Modern Homestead, because the seasonal change is happening pretty quickly. And I think the Old Farmer's Almanac and the Daily Almanac, well, I think it touches on everything that kind of takes place during the season with the homestead frame of mind. And even if you're stuck at a desk or stuck inside a factory or stuck somewhere where you're not actively outside and able to engage in all of the seasonal change. I mean, hell, guys, I'm stuck in a commercial kitchen for hours a day. While some things have changed, many things haven't. So I still like to read the Daily Almanac because I feel like it brings me back in touch with the outside world, the reality that is, because sometimes in our lives, we get stuck in the context of our life, we get stuck in the grind, and it's hard to keep in touch with what else is going on out there in the world. So in these daily almanacs, you can learn little tidbits on who was born on this day, what happened today in history, little factoids like there's 6 days until autumn begins, which means there's 6 days until the online store opens. Check out the show notes for links to York Meadow Farm on that. There's also questions of the day, like why doesn't all the popcorn pop when you pop it in the microwave? And guys, microwave popcorn, you know, it's fine. I appreciate it sometimes as a snack, but boy, if you've got some nice popcorn that you're doing on the stove, popping it in oil, whew, that is an entirely different experience. There's also puzzles of the day and little tidbits of poetry to just get you thinking of the seasons. For example, a poem by Hilda Conkling, an American poet from 1910 who passed in 1986, who wrote, "The world turns softly, not to spill its lakes and rivers." And in the Daily Almanac today, we've got articles on growing Asian pears, juicy, sweet, yes, yet crisp. So you can meet Asian pears, among the finest fruits they've ever grown. The author has ever grown, that is. They have the juicy white flesh and lovely bouquet of a pear, but they are round and can be eaten crisp off the tree like an apple. Plus, this fruit is low in acidity, stores for many months, and is easy to grow. We have an Asian pear, like a 4-in-1 out there. It's not producing all that well this year. We need to manage that thing a little bit better, but I can indeed attest to how delicious Asian pears are. They are fantastic. We've also got an article on the night sky for September 2022. Start watching Mars and Jupiter on September 16th and 17th. The moon and Mars meet. And mark your calendars for September 27th, when Jupiter is at its nearest and brightest of the year. All you have to do is look up. This article contains viewing tips from Bob Berman, so check out today's Daily Almanac if you are interested in that. There's also an article on salvia. Perennial salvia, also known as sage, is a mainstay of the midsummer garden, providing aromatic blooms that are beloved by bees and butterflies. Taking salvia cuttings in the fall is a good way to keep these drought-tolerant beauties from going from year to year. So check out that article on salvia. Salvia is a great plant. It's very versatile. It looks good. There's a lot of uses for it. It's just beautiful. And moreover, it is incredibly resilient. It is just a bomb-proof plant. So if you're looking for something to, that's just got a lot of uses, check out salvias. And check out this article for more information. There's also an article on beets and the health benefits of beets. The humble beet, when steamed, boiled, roasted, pickled, borscht, but especially served raw, is nutritious and offers many health benefits. I would love to read that article, and under normal circumstances, I would dive right into that article, but we are going to discuss an audience member and the work that they are doing. But I love beets. Besides our traditional kraut, our beet kraut is probably my second most favorite kraut. And the beet kraut is real simple that we make. It's basically a 60-40 ratio of cabbage to beets. And then we add some chopped garlic in there as well. And that's it. So 60-40 cabbage, beets, throw in some chopped garlic, mix it with your salt, ferment that up. It is out of this world. And that is probably, like I said, that's right up there with traditional. I like that just as much. There's also an article on soft pretzels. So if soft pretzels are your thing, These homemade soft pretzels are so soft and buttery. They're so easy to make and certainly better than those from any food chain. Soft pretzels are great for a yummy snack, weekend or game, movie night, potluck party, or just any time. And honestly, you know, I don't make stuff like that very often, but I feel like for a family dinner or something when the kids are over, I might reference something like this because that is just a fun thing indeed to eat, and a little homemade touch that I think everybody would appreciate when it comes to family dinner time here at the farm. Now, again, check out the show notes. I'll link to the daily almanacs, because if you find all of this content interesting, I would just encourage you to subscribe to that so you can sign up and receive these updates in your inbox just like I do on a more regular basis. So you don't have to wait around for me to cover this. You can check out this stuff on the regular. Show notes for the link there. All right. Now that we're feeling all homesteady, I want to talk about the modern homestead. Okay. And what I mean by the modern homestead is best described by a podcast called the Modern Homesteading Podcast. And that is a podcast that is hosted by Harold Thornborough and our loyal listener, Rachel Jameson, audience member Rachel. And the show description reads as follows. Join Harold Thornborough and Rachel Jameson as they talk about all things homesteading. They discuss things like gardening, livestock, permaculture, food preservation, foraging, hunting, fishing, and the know-how and skills that will help you in your homesteading journey. And occasionally they have guests, and we get to hear about what others are doing on their homesteads. This is a great show. There's just a lot of information out there, and I know that a lot of you guys that listen to this are into homesteading. A lot of us share some of the common homesteading communities. A lot of this audience comes from a common homestead thread, but there's also a pretty huge Facebook group out there in conjunction with this podcast. And I want to say it's the Homestead Front Porch. I'm not that active on Facebook. I know it's out there, and I think I've accidentally been blasting it with some farm posts recently. I've joined a couple of groups as the farm page, and as I learn how to figure out how to use the meta Facebook, Instagram thing, I think I'm posting to groups, and I feel like I might be spamming it accidentally. But so if that's the case, I'm sorry, Rachel. Yeah, I'm trying to get better at my social media skills. But anyways, great podcast. You can check that out at redemptionpermaculture.com/category/podcast, or simply search for the Modern Homesteading Podcast on any or all of your podcast players, and tune in to hear some real good homesteading centric talk. I talk about homesteading a little bit here on this show, but you know, I feel like such a fledgling homesteader that there's far more to this show than simply homesteading. It's one aspect of my life, and there's just a lot of other stuff going on in life, hence the name All Around Growth, which includes but certainly is not limited to the homestead. You want homesteading specific content all day, every day. This is a great source to get that. So check out the Modern Homesteading Podcast. Now, Rachel is doing quite a bit in addition to this podcast in her own right, okay? She and her husband are actively working on a number of different projects, and you can check out her work on her new website at rewilderlife.com, okay? And it's a new endeavor. It's very cool. I like the layout of the site. I like the work that she's doing. It's very clean. It's very simple. It's different, and I appreciate that. So check it out, and definitely check out the newest article that she wrote just a few days ago, which includes a recipe on ketchup. Well, ketchup, right? Not just any ketchup, but a roasted tomato and wild sorrel ketchup. It's not just the recipe though, it's the way that she wrote it, the article, or the photo that's included in the article, which looks fantastic. The way that she's talking about slow food, which appeals to me because long before I got into any of this, it was the slow food movement, along with old time music, that opened my eyes to food, community, and a different way of life. One that could be had as long as we actively chose it and pursued it, because it is not the norm. And that's what Rachel's doing. That is what I am trying to do. No, that's what I'm doing. And if you're listening to this show, chances are that's what you're doing as well. So keep away from that word try. Remember that we're actively doing it. We're all at different stages in our journey, and we're all here to help and support each other, because at the end of the day, all we're really doing is walking each other home. So guys, now that we've gotten our seasonal homestead fix in for the day, and we've got the right resources and tools to know where to find it with the Daily Almanac, the Modern Homesteading Podcast, and rewildtheirlife.com, I would just encourage you to go check out those sites, listen to the podcast, and get out there and make it a great day. Here in Northeast Ohio, we've got a bright sunny day ahead in the high 70s, with another cool night in the 60s and maybe the low 50s. Makes for great sleeping. This is my favorite time of year out there. So enjoy the weekend, everybody. Hit up your local farmers markets, and I look forward to seeing you on Monday. This is Rob Kaiser, and thank you.
The needs are many and answers a few. People turn away, and I wondered why. If I can help somebody, then I want to try. People may think that it's odd that I believe in friendship and love, and truth is always the best way to the world that may seem odd. I'm an odd fellow. I'm an odd fellow. I'm an odd fellow. If we stand together, we'll never fall. We can make a difference and answer the call. We know the times are wasting every day, and we can help somebody along the way. People may think that it's odd that I believe in friendship and love. Truth is always the best way to the world that may seem odd. I'm an odd fellow. You're an odd